Today, my friend, is a good day. Not only because, well, I'm driving a brand new, all new, top of the line flagship Range Rover 2023, but this coat that I thought I would wear to shoot this video, which I haven't worn in almost 4 years, is now way too big for me. Haven't worn in 4 years, thank you, COVID, but anyway, there's information you knew you didn't want to know, and now you know. All right, so the Range Rover, I don't know, well, what I'm about to say. I don't know that there's a more iconic ultra premium SUV than the actual Range Rover itself. Yeah, BMW and Mercedes-Benz and a few other brands have their super iconic flagship SUVs, but I don't think that any of them stand out or have stood the test of time, or definitely have not been around as long as the Range Rover. I mean, this thing started way back in 1969, and I'm pretty sure that at the time they had no idea nor any intentions to make it become such a living legend. The fifth generation of the Range Rover was just introduced for the 2022, or in 2022, I should say, for the 23 model year here in North America. And, well, look, it's exquisite. It is unfathomably luxurious, refined, but it's ridiculously expensive. But that's something you probably already had figured out. But I put the emphasis on ridiculous because when you consider what its direct competition is, say in the X7 or the GLS or the Escalade, just to name those three, the gap is enormous. This one is, well, ridiculously expensive, and it's nowhere near being the most expensive version. Anyhow, but be that as it may, the fact is that, you know, if you want the top premium luxury SUV, it's built into the name. It's the Range Rover. It's not just a brand. This is it. This happens to be a long wheelbase version too. So, I mean, it doesn't really get much better than this on a number of levels. Anyhow, in the following video, as we normally do, we're going to go around a long walk around this, I think it's 5.2 meter long overall SUV. And there's one thing, I mean, the design is wonderful, but I kind of like what Range Rover has done. Anyhow, walk around, and then for a glorious V8 powered ultra smooth drive. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, you might notice that the Range Rover has dropped. That's because for the opening sequence of the video, I actually had the suspension in off-road 2 height. So the adjustable air suspension was at its max, near 12-inch ground clearance capability. And by the way, the weighting depth is of 90 centimeters. So, you know, if my math isn't too bad, you're going about mid-fender or just below that, and you can go swimming with your very, very expensive Range Rover. Now, about design, what I was trying to say is that there's a simplicity, and the shadows are not that great. You can always check the gallery on Motor Illustrated, but I mean, there's a lot going on in the front. I'm going to zoom in. There's a lot going on in the front, but at the same time, it's very simple, very classy, very... I mean, okay, so this actual model has a different exterior package, so there's no chrome per se. It's just like kind of dark chrome, not shiny chrome. So that might influence a little bit the way it looks, but the reason why I bring this up is that it's kind of a, well, middle finger to Hyundai and other automakers that are going way over the top with their front end grills and crazy over the top designs. It's like Range Rover said, you guys go ahead, we're doing our own thing. In fact, their own thing is kind of what they call it, reductive design, and it's it's beautiful in its simplicity. I mean, the only odd details are like this on the door, this trim, but it so fits. I think it fits even better because this is a long wheelbase version, but it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And as I come around, you can probably tell too that the paint on this thing is a satin finish, which is a near $13,000 option. Expensive, I told you. And the rear, there's nothing going on, but there's so much being said by just a little line. It's really unfortunate that it's dirty, but hey, it's winter, can't do much about it. I said 5.2 meters. In fact, overall length is 5.258 meters. So this is a big boy. And there's 3.2 meters almost in the wheelbase alone. Now that's a lot. Speaking of a lot, base price in the US for the base short regular wheelbase model P400 is $106,500, and the top trim long wheelbase V8 with everything starts at $226,500. Canada, same trim layout, the P400 standard wheelbase starts at $128,950, and the top model is $259,900. Obviously, the base equipment is massive: 21-inch wheels, 21-inch wheels, LED lights, Windsor leather, power tailgate, so on and so forth. And then you step up to this model, which is kind of the high trim, long wheelbase, regular version, 7-seater. It's a little bit strange, but this is the Autobiography, which was unmatched and the top trim at one point. And it starts at $193,000. You get the 22s, you get 24-way power, heated massaging, cooled seats, a Meridian 3D audio, 13.1-inch touchscreen display. And I hinted about a few options. Speaking of that exterior package, a heated windshield, yeah, you have to pay an extra $500 for that on this thing. The black roof is an option too, which is mesmerizing with the satin light color exterior. Black wheels, they're fine too. That's another option. So basically, you're looking at a $210,000 SUV. If you add in the $21,000+ luxury tax and other fees, $235,000. Now, this is what I mean by expensive. Okay, so if you go back to the 210, I mean, an X7 Alpina is at least as special as this. I don't even want to bring up the Escalade V because I'm not into that thing, but a GLS, the top trim, whatever, for you know, $20,000 to $50,000 less than this, you get 99% of this, you know, maybe minus the off-road chops and the name. But I mean, nobody's gonna poo-poo on an X7 Alpina, for example. I guess we can do the tour as we keep going. Power tailgate, that's standard. I think I mentioned it, so the button's right under that R. I love this dual gate business. It's fantastic if you want to access, you know, stuff that's in here. This is a 3-row version, obviously, and it's in there. I sat in there, and it's doable as long as the second row is not all the way back, despite the overall size, which is kind of nuts. I love that. I just love that. It's beautiful. It's 1153 liters, I believe, overall, which is fine. What am I saying? Fine. It's huge. Nice touch. Here we go. We're closing up. And off to the races we go. So the seats, yeah, handles power in and out, as you can expect today in 2023. With some snow earlier in the week, you know, the snow kind of gets crunched in there. I don't know what that's going to be like in a few years, but it doesn't really matter because it'll be gone. So multi-way power adjustable second row, which are also heated. Third row is also power adjustable. This is your settings for that. I won't mess around too much with that. Come on, go back. All right, you go back when you feel like it. Power sunshades, which is great. There's loads of room, and yes, the seats are a little dirty, but I clean them up. So the 7-seaters, it's a 3 in the rear, 3 in the middle row, which could essentially fit a small adult or you know, adolescent. That would work. It's just beautiful. I mean, the details, the amount of pieces of trim, the wood, the leathers. I mean, this is beautiful. It's just beautiful. Soft closed doors also, as you would come to expect. These seats, look how padded and fat the seats are. They might, no, there's so many good things about this. I was gonna say it's the greatest thing about this truck, but they are so impossibly good, so impossibly fat. I mean, this is like your favorite chair, only better. Again, details, fit, finish. Let's get on board, start her up. Yes. You know, there are things that could be said. I mean, as, oh, pardon me, let me turn that down. It's what happens when you drive a Range Rover. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Maybe you'll hear it later. I'm not a fan of massive screens, you know, and I think that Range Rover just absolutely nailed it. The 13.1 is beautiful. It's horizontal. It comes out just far enough so that it's easy enough to reach and work through the menus. I don't know that I've ever seen a better integrated digital IP. It is so smooth and clean the way it's laid out, and it's configurable, and there's so many ways to configure this truck. There's no point in actually playing with that. No, it worked the first time. I remember having the exact same problem in other JLR products. Yeah, the issue that you usually get with these JLR vehicles is that there's a lot going on. I mean, to get to the different modes, so there's the driving, the ride height, quick access to various other menus. This is just your general layout, which it's pretty much all there. But if you want, you know, the max, all of it is right here, as always. You know, most of the icons are legible, you can find them, but you know, you have to focus on the screen. Apple CarPlay, so your seats, there you go. You can actually adjust the third row heating, you know, all row heating, various adjustments, so on and so forth. Is there something else I want to show you? I guess no. We'll just go to the drive modes. So when you press it down, you see auto, so then it goes into auto terrain response. So it figures everything out you want. If you push it up, and you have access to all of your drive modes. So your dynamic, your eco, comfort is your default mode, and then, you know, all of that, the stuff that's important. And then there's configurable, which is amazing because, well, as any other configurable, that's it. That's the key right there. For the adjustable air suspension, that's just the way it is. You know, more wheel spin. I kind of keep it in the middle, keep everything else in the middle. Differentials, you don't want to lock them right now. There's no reason for that. But yeah, so there you go. It all appears there. This too can be configured with a complete map and other stuff. The typical stuff you get. But let's just say, you know, you don't want to go through all of that. This is where it kind of gets a little bit complicated. So when you push, that's when you have your seat controls. When you pull, see, it takes a little bit of time. You have your fan controls. And when it's in normal, you get your temp controls. There's a lot of things going on there. At least, you know, you can skip to your seats quickly there. Heated windshield. There's a lot going on, but it's very tolerable, very good because it's so beautiful. Oh, and the Meridian audio is it's like sitting in the music. It's wonderful, and the visibility is excellent too because everything is below the dash line. This is superb. Yeah, this is a great truck. So it gets even better when you drive. Let's go. Okay, so the base engine, which is the plug-in hybrid straight six. Here's a door handles. Did you hear that? See, that to me, that's unacceptable. Reason why they shouldn't exist. But anyway, okay. So the plug-in hybrid version, interestingly, is available in both US and Canada, but effectively at the moment it's unavailable in the US. But the V8 is. And in Canada, it's the exact opposite, which is interesting because you can get the plug-in hybrid version, but the V8s, the demand is so strong for it that there is no availability, which is a little bit unfortunate because, oh, yeah, That BMW sourced 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 is just it's creamy, it's powerful, it breathes so right. It also produces 523 horsepower between 5,500 and 6,000 RPM, and 553 pound-feet of torque from 1,800 to 4,600 RPM, which means that this, well, with my big butt in it, well, slightly smaller butt, I guess, than previously, 6,000 pounds is what this thing weighs. It'll reach 100 kilometers an hour from a standstill in 4.8 seconds. But the thing is that this thing is so big, so heavy, so refined, so smooth, that the sense of speed is completely lost. But that's luxury. That is absolute and utter luxury. I'm so, it's comfortable. I'm looking for the right word, and I can't think of it right now. In French, it's oncture, but I don't know why I can't think of the translation in English. But it's just so buttery smooth. Everything about it, just the steering. I mean, yeah, you can adjust the amount of assistance, but I mean, you leave it in normal because it's just beautifully sorted as is. What else do I want to say? The transmission just glides from gear to gear. The brake pedal feel is awesome, and that adjustable air suspension is just, it's magical what it can do despite the 22-inch wheels. And the roads were snow covered when I picked it up a few days ago. Now, I mean, essentially it's starting to melt. It's, I think, plus 3 degrees Celsius, which is really, really nice for nearly mid-February. Just that effortless push of torque, the comfort. If you're hearing a few noises in the cab, well, that's the baby seats and I'm so relaxed right now, I can't even speak. And my tripod in the boot. Yeah, this, if it was and could be reliable, you'd want to drive it forever and ever, obviously with an unlimited credit card to fill up at every opportunity. I'm not even going to bring up fuel consumption because it's totally, I believe, irrelevant. I mean, yes, it's bad, but I mean, if you're buying a $200,000+ V8 powered ultra luxurious SUV, fuel is inconsequential, as well it should be in this one. I mean, I don't know what else to add. Great brakes, great ride, good power, soothing, comforting, luxurious. But I will end by saying that as much as I love this truck, I mean, if I was buying it with, someone else's money, or buying one with someone else's money, I'd probably consider a Range Rover. But I don't know, an X7 Alpina has a different uniqueness to it. And I said 99% before, but okay, maybe it's 95% as sumptuous. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. But in my mind, it's all the more special, it's more powerful. I mean, a G-Wagon is excellent, and it is in this price range for like a base model now, but it doesn't behave like the big Range Rover, nor an X7, or... in this rarefied, expensive air, in my opinion, the Escalade is outclassed. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're gonna buy a Range Rover, it's because you want a Range Rover. There isn't much else to add to that. Oh, and I mean, I'm done.